everyone. This is Magda from ICE Alliance, and we are currently at ICE Barcelona, and I am joined by Nikita, Chief Customer Officer here at EvenBet Gaming. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Same here. Thank you so very much for having us.
Nikita, I would like to start right off the bat. What makes good customer service exceptional?
Great question. You almost have to evolve the notion of the service into a consultative approach, into partnership with customers. We made sure that we don't just react to customers' requests or problems or questions. We are there for them as partners. We look at data, we look at trends, and we then look at value that we can bring to their business and give them recommendations. We consult them on things that will move their projects forward. And ultimately, I think that the results in 2025, where we really pressed gas on it, speak for themselves, where we've seen upwards of 300% growth of GGR on some of our projects that are more complex through this particular approach where it brought that value.
Thank you so much for those insights. And when you want to have a successful meeting with a customer, what would be your advice to keep them, to help them grow?
Funny that you ask, because just this past year in 2025, we've had our first face-to-face customer retreat where we've taken 10 customers that are very different by geo or their complexity, and we sat with them for a whole day. Now, when we talk about meetings, I just said, answering the previous questions about business value, right? So we are trying to drive value for their businesses. But when you talk about great meetings, it's about people-to-people relationships. We need to make sure that there isn't another meeting that follows on the heels of the first one on your calendar, over Zoom, Google Meets, whatever it is. And it is in an environment that is conducive to great human interaction. So my top advice in that respect will be make sure that you create an environment in which human interaction can thrive.
That is absolutely true. Human-to-human interactions are just invaluable, especially at the events. And when it comes to B2B iGaming, what would you say are some mistakes that people do when it comes to helping customers?
I think the very concept of helping customers, first reaction that anybody has is to help solve their problems. And if there isn't problems, it's great. That's not always true. And I think the biggest mistake is ignoring silence. And things like NPS also confirm that theory, right? So when you have somebody who isn't even invested in screaming at you or expressing their dissatisfaction, that is actually the biggest risk that you can have. And I think the biggest mistake that we're seeing a lot of organizations do is that they say, well, there isn't any problems that we are being made aware of, so there isn't anything to do, right? That is something that absolutely kills your retention and your expansion potential with the customer.
Absolutely. Nikita, you gave really great advice. So thank you so much for all your insights, and I'm wishing you a great rest of the event.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone watching. Follow us for more content from ICE Barcelona.